Hello, friends, and welcome to the Exploring Washington State podcast. My name is Scott Cowan, and I'm the host of the show. Each episode, I have a conversation with an interesting guest who is living in or from Washington State. These are casual conversations with real and interesting people. I think you're going to like the show. So let's jump right in with today's guest. All right, everyone, I am sitting down, and Brian Frahm is standing up, and Brian is the Park Ranger 3 for the Central Lakes Assistant Area, which sounds really impressive, Brian. But we're sitting here at Lake Chelan State Park, which is not your home park, but it's where I met you.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Brian, welcome.
Thank you.
Brian, what's Park Ranger 3 mean?
It's the assistant area manager. If you're familiar with our parks, we're separated out into areas, and that specific position is in charge of daily operations and is the lead law enforcement for the area, guidance on what enforcement actions are going to be taken throughout the summer, looking at those types of things.
Okay. So why don't you tell us what parks those are that you're overseeing?
Sure. Yeah. So I have Lake Chelan, where we're at, of course, but then I have Alta Lake, Bridgeport, and 25 Mile Creek State Parks.
So all fairly close.
Yeah.
Fairly.
A little over an hour to Bridgeport,
right,
depending on how you go.
And in your day-to-day routine, and he's giving me a funny look like there is no daily routine.
There's no daily, you know this.
But how often do you visit each of these four parks?
Yeah, sure. I try to get to each park. I mean, there's four parks, 5 work days. I try to get once a week to at least one. Sometimes I get to multiples in a week. So
like for those people that don't know, 25 Mile is what, 8 miles from here, maybe?
9.5.
Yeah, 9.5. Yeah. Alta and Bridgeport are probably 15 miles, maybe?
I can tell you by the minutes. It's about 40 minutes to Alta Lake, and then you're about right about an hour over to Bridgeport.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I don't know where this is going to go now. Now I'm going, are we going to talk about 4 parks? Are we going to talk about this park? But let's talk about you for a second. As we're standing, or you're standing, I'm sitting. It's November 2025. Every time I've come to this park, you've been out blowing leaves. So I think you're really a landscaper disguised as a park ranger. Okay. But when you were growing up, did you think you were going to be a park ranger?
No, I didn't think I was going to be a park ranger. It wasn't. I fell into it. It's not that I wasn't in parks. I'm an Eagle Scout. My scout group was active outdoors. We were in national parks. We were in the state parks. My Eagle Scout project was in a state park. My dad had a friend who was a park ranger. That's how I got access to the park to do my Eagle Scout project. But no, it was not. I enjoyed the outdoors. I wanted to do something that would allow me to be in the outdoors. But I didn't know. I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was going to do. So.
And you didn't grow up in Washington. You grew up in Colorado.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Where'd you go to college?
Colorado State University, Pueblo.
And what'd you go to college for?
I wanted to be an accountant.
So you wanted to be an outdoor accountant?
Well, I figured if I could make good money, I could be a weekend warrior, and I could do that. And not that accountants don't work year round, right? There is a season for that. And I was, kind of hoping maybe, so then I just hit the season and I can kind of have a lot of money, have the toys, do the fun stuff, and then come back and do the thing and earn some more kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Graduate degree in accounting?
No.
Okay. So like a lot of us, you started with accounting, and what did you end up with?
So I have a degree in outdoor recreation and leadership. And it's a bit of a twist. I was doing the business program at the school, and I went to at the time it was University of Southern Colorado. They've changed names since. They had the Hassan School of Business. It was a really good school, pretty new. Was really looking to try to get, push some people through and get them out in the real world, right? And like make a name. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be one of those people. But I ran into this gentleman. His name is Jay Czar, and he was the director of our Experiential Learning Center, which is an outdoor program. And he saw my love for the outdoors.
Okay.
And he said, there's jobs you can do. Like there's all kinds of jobs you can do and be on the outdoors.
Did he tell you about the vow of poverty that you were going to have to sign?
No, that was a little hidden secret.
Little later.
Secret. Yeah.
Gee, they got
Later
you.
on
Got
yeah,
you.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you gotta have the hook first, right? You gotta get the
You're
hook.
in, and like, oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
Sold.
All right. So you graduated from college in Colorado.
Mhm.
Right out of college, what'd you do?
All kinds of things. So I worked for Radio Shack. I was yeah.
I'm noticing a trend that there is no trend.
There is no trend. Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. The first time I only had one job was when I became a park ranger.
Okay.
I've always worked multiple jobs. So I worked at Radio Shack. I was working to be a region manager for Radio Shack. I was night stocking at a box store at that time, and then during the summers I was taking off and I was working at youth camps in Estes Park, Colorado.
Okay.
And I was kind of all over the place.
All right.
Yeah.
Radio Shack. Haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah, the Tandy Corp.
Wow.
But I can say anything about it because no one can track it back. I could have said I was a region manager and no one would know.
No. Anyway, I remember those days going to Tandy. Well, Tandy around here, it was Tandy Leather. They had like these leather stores.
Yep.
But they kept the Tandy brand kind of hidden from Radio Shack, if you will.
Yep.
Anyway, we could go down that rabbit hole of how people were buying capacitors and weird little things off the shelf.
The greatest.
Yeah. Yeah, really.
Education you got from and I owe some of that to Radio Shack. They the training that you got to be an employee there really fed my jack of all trades.
Okay.
Because I really loved learning all that little stuff and all those little things. I like doing things with my hands. I mean, that's what you saw me doing.
So were you ever a nerd with a soldering iron, and did you ever like start building this type of stuff? Or
not so much that. I used to build stereo systems in cars. So I installed you listen to that car booming down the road.
That was you?
That was totally me.
And you could identify that was a Rockford such and such or in Alpine. Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're still in Colorado, but we're sitting in Washington. So how long have you been in Washington?
2006.
Okay. And what brought you out here?
My wife was going to go to school in Cheney, Eastern Washington, and so I came along. I didn't have nothing. Nothing was.
So were you married at that time?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're married to your wife at that time. Mm-hmm. Okay. You kind of had to go, didn't you? I mean, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
But to Cheney. So you came out to Cheney area,
well,
Spokane.
yeah, we ended up in Spokane.
In Spokane. All right. And she went to Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
Just out of curiosity, what would she
Occupational therapy.
Occupational therapy.
Yep.
Okay. All right. When did you start working for the Washington State Parks Department?
2006.
So when you first got out here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was your first job here?
I was a park aide.
Okay. So humor me.
Yeah.
Because there's this hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And for what park were you at first?
I was at Riverside State Park. I was actually at the Bull and Pitcher. Yeah.
Okay. You're at Bull and Pitcher. Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful place.
Yep.
Okay. As a park aide, what did they have you do? What was your duties?
A lot of janitorial mostly.
Okay.
I did a lot of leaf blowing, which was mostly needles there.
Right.
Raking campsites. That year, picking up garbages, we would take, we had a bunch of dumpsters, or we had only one dumpster, but a lot of garbage cans. So It was a lot of physical labor to actually like take the garbage from each one of those and put them in the, up into the dumpster. We had a recycling program up there, so we spent some time there. We didn't have the Discover Pass at the time, so our booth wasn't as busy, and we spent a lot of our spare time splitting wood income for the park, because trees fall, right? And we got to do something with that, so we buck them and split them, and we'd actually split and wrap wood so we could resell it later. So we did some of that to help with some of the income for the park.
Okay. Interesting. So I'm noticing this jack of all trades thing.
Yes.
Okay. So I have lots of questions, but how long were you a park aide?
So I did 2 years as a park aide. My second year I came back, they actually had what they called as a CRS park aide. And that literally sitting in a contact station, registering campers, doing the Discover Pass stuff. I didn't do much. There was a bathroom in there, so I took care of that one. Occasionally I took care of the campground and campground bathrooms when there wasn't someone there or someone called in sick or something, but really my job was to sit in the booth.
So you graduated up, if you will.
It was not nearly as good.
Was it a lateral move?
Well, you're literally like sitting in a booth all day long. If someone who likes to be outdoors, like that's gonna drive you crazy.
Okay.
Right? A lot of customer service, which is great. Radio Shack. Let's talk customer service, right? There was a lot of customer. But the third year I came back as a senior park aide, and was interviewing for park ranger positions at that point.
So are these park aide positions seasonal work? Are they year round, or does it depend on the park?
It really does depend on the park. East side of the state, most of our campgrounds, most of our day use areas, our usage decreases drastically because of the temperatures.
Right.
And depending on where your location is, you've got a Mount Spokane where it actually increases, or Lake Wenatchee or an Easton, right? They all bump up a little bit.
Okay.
But you're looking at like this park, Alta Lake, Bridgeport, Curlew, Lewis and Clark. Some of these it's going to die off because there's not a recreational opportunity that people are coming for in particular for.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then you interviewed to be a park ranger. We know that turned out successful for you.
Yeah. After getting laid off and coming back and laid off and came back, it was the 2000. It was the Great Recession.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you became a park ranger. Now that's full time, right? When you hit the level of park ranger.
Park Ranger 2.
Park Ranger 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you become what, Park Ranger 1 or
no? Well, yes and no. It's changed a little bit.
Okay.
So Park Ranger 1 used to be a park ranger in training.
Okay.
And that was while you were waiting to get through the police academy or the parks academy at the time.
So, all right. So for clarity, park rangers, when you have a job title, your sleeve says park ranger.
Yeah.
Somebody else who walks by might say park aide, or
they're going to be dressed pretty differently. But you might have someone that says interpreter.
Okay.
Look very similar.
But you, as a park ranger, you've gone through Washington State Patrol training.
I went through the law enforcement training. State Patrol is different than than the basic law enforcement.
Okay, so you went through law enforcement training.
Yep.
How long did that take?
It's 18 weeks.
18 weeks.
Yep.
Okay. So you are a authorized and licensed law officer
of the state. Yep.
Of the state. And I mean, I can make a joke about you're the sheriff walking around, but no,
I am.
You're
yeah.
All right. So 18 weeks, you complete that training. We could probably spend a whole episode talking about what that.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm a trainer, so yeah.
Oh, okay. So we could completely talk about all that. That'd be kind of fun, but maybe another time.
Yeah.
And then where were you first assigned as a park ranger?
Riverside State Park.
Riverside State Park.
Yep.
Okay. And how long as a park ranger were you there?
I left in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you went to
Lake Chelan. Well, yeah, Lake Chelan State Park.
Did you? So okay. Now you oversee these other parks. So when you first came here, were you just assigned to Lake Chelan, or did you come here in the capacity to oversee the other parks?
Also, kind of a blurry subject. That one. So at the time they were split. Still, there was a manager here at Lake Chelan, 25 Mile Creek State Park.
Okay.
There was another manager who had Alta Lake Bridgeport.
Got it.
They were kind of waiting. They needed to combine the area, right, to make an area. And so they wait for attrition for that. They're not going to just be like, hey, you don't have a job anymore. We're moving someone else in, right? Okay. So they were waiting for some attrition. He retired out, and that's where I came in, and then that also gave us some, because we now have this money from another manager. We were able to actually use that quite well, and we have some maintenance staff from that. We've got some additional rangers from that, all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
All right. To kind of recap so I can formulate. So in a perfect world, I'm making air quotes, you like to visit each of your parks once a week.
At least, yeah.
At least once a week. Now, if there was a situation,
sure,
at, let's say, Bridgeport, there's a park ranger there, though, correct? Is there a park ranger at Bridgeport?
So all of our parks have a park ranger assigned to them.
Okay.
But they could be a ranger 1. So depending on the incident, they may or may not be able to
respond.
Some of them may be observe and report kind of thing and wait for us. But yeah.
All right. So let's say there's an incident that is an unfortunate incident. Whatever, an unruly guest who's threatening people loudly and verbally.
Yeah.
Do they call you and bring you over? Do you have to get in your truck and drive to we'll say pick on Bridgeport. It's going to be Bridgeport's going to be the troublemaker.
One. Yeah.
But are you doing that, or at what level do you get called back into these parks?
Yeah. So yes, I would be called for that. But again, depending on the level of that, say it's someone they've talked to multiple times for that they're not paying their fees, right? But they're camping there, they're just not paying. They're not causing a problem, whatever, right? But we still need to get payment from them. That person has no enforcement action necessarily, except for trying to educate this person, which is really what we want to do. That's really in base. Even I'm going to go in there and try to educate people,
right?
But yeah, I might get called over for something like that. If it was someone like threatening people, it's going to be a bigger call. I will be called for that, but I'm an hour, right? Even if I'm driving like code or something, which again, there's some caveats to that, right? It might make more sense for a county officer or like someone to show up.
County officers do have authority then.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you have to invite them on, or can they? I guess, so I'm just looking around the park here, and there's this camper over there, and they look kind of shifty. No, they don't. And next to them is this really, really nice Mercedes Sprinter that's, $300,000, and they're from Kirkland, and they're being annoyed. If those people, I'm making all this up.
Yeah.
If they called 911, go to the Chelan County Sheriff. Would the sheriff respond to that, or would they ping you and say you deal with it?
The easy answer is yes.
Okay.
Because they'll put a radio call out for that.
Okay.
And they'll also, so if I'm on the radio, I'll hear that and be like, hey, I'm here. I'll take care of this, and call off whatever, or hey, stand by. I'll let you know if I need someone else, whatever.
Right.
But they also have my cell phone number, and so if I didn't answer that and they knew that it was coming here, we have multiple rangers on a list, and they'll kind of call down that list. But they're not waiting for one of us to answer that phone to potentially send an officer, if that makes sense.
I was just always a little curious about whether these parks were, we say state, Washington, and Chelan County does. Okay, so I was was curious. Thank you for that.
State patrol could show up too.
Right, but
it just doesn't. 97, they're not on 971 much, right? So
yeah, they're always on 97.
Yeah,
trust
97.
me. I know.
Not on,
I know they're on 97.
Yes.
Oh, do I know? Okay. Well, let's talk about this park.
Sure. Yeah.
During summer, it's never very busy here.
Right. Yeah.
And it's standing room. It's close to full capacity every night, right?
Yeah, it really is.
And you mentioned something in passing. I think you tried to slip it past me. And what he said was, we have 1,000 people a day here.
A night.
Yeah. And I kind of did a double take. So when does that, I'll call it peak. What is the peak season here?
September 15th, we closed down half the campground.
Okay. But when do you open it up again?
So it's a little bit on the weather, but really around April 15th is when we really need to.
And when does it start really I know weather, but when probably June 15th? Are you firing on all cylinders here?
Yeah. So I always like it. Memorial Day is really great for us. Most of our staff is on at that point, and they get this like window into the world of what this park is the chaos that's gonna happen here.
Right.
And they go, oh wow, okay, because literally the day before that Thursday.
It's peaceful, sleepy.
It's pretty peaceful. We're busy, nicely busy, right? But that Memorial Day weekend, it's not even standing room only, because we are literally turning people around.
So would the retail comparison of this being somebody starting at Radio Shack back in the day on Black Friday?
Yeah.
So
Every weekend is Black Friday here.
Welcome. Okay. Yeah. So how many camp spots are here?
There is now 134.
134. Mm-hmm. And you have 1,000 people a night?
Roughly, yeah.
So how do you?
So we have hiker-biker spots that we fill on a regular basis.
And that doesn't count to the 134?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're separate. So state parks, if you come in on if you're biking through somewhere,
right,
we're not going to be like, hey, we don't have room for you. You got to move on, because
Okay.
it's not really safe for that. So most parks will have a place to put someone who's on a pedal bike.
Okay.
Right. Some parks are close to hiking through trails.
Right.
And so they have we call them hiker biker, because there's places where it may make sense that it might be a hiker versus a biker.
Okay.
So a lot of state parks will actually have those. So we fill those on a regular basis.
All right.
Here.
So weekends, 1,000 people a night.
Mm-hmm.
How's the weekdays during the summer? Do you drop down to like 700 a night?
Yeah, we probably we're probably closer to 700 to 800 a night. Yeah.
Okay. How about Alta Lake? Does Alta have more spots, camping spots than
It
you?
doesn't. It has 124, so it's 10 less.
Okay, and are they about the same? Are they 900 people a night?
They're pretty. I mean, they're
Wow.
similar. When you look at it's changed. They are more full now in the more recent years than in years past. But yeah, they're pretty full.
Okay. And Bridgeport?
Is kind of our sleeper. It regularly will have a spot or
Really?
two available, but it's 36 spots, right?
Is that all?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when I drove through there, it seemed. I don't. It's not that I'm quite. No, you're wrong.
You're
No,
wrong.
but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, really? I would have guessed more. Okay. And then what about 25 Mile?
Also 36 spots.
Okay.
It is more full now. When I got here, there were 64, and we halved the amount of spots there.
Why?
The biggest complaint was I couldn't find my spot. It's too loud. The people were camping right on top of me.
Okay.
All of those things that we don't want in state parks.
Okay.
So
Do you need to check that? He's
No,
pulling out multiple phones here, folks.
I do have. It's an Amber Alert that went out. So
Okay. Are we?
Yeah,
all right,
we're good.
cool. We'll keep moving forward. All right. All these parks. How far out are people reserving? Okay, the look on his face for this one. I think I heard him. How far out are people reserving here?
It's 9 months in advance.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Man.
and so example, 4th of July, October 4th. You got to have your reservation by October 4th for the 4th of July. And that whole week, I got on at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they were all full already. And I don't know. It's the start of your trip, right? So if you waited till if you wanted to come on July 4th,
Right.
but everyone else here was coming on the 2nd or the 3rd and were staying for 5 days,
Right.
they're going to be, because they were able October 1st or 2nd, they were able to make that
They
reservation.
were able to jump you in the line, if you will.
little
I
bit,
see your
yeah.
point. How many days can I reserve when I'm online?
You can reserve for 10.
10.
And you can only stay in state parks for 10 days. Yeah.
And why is that?
Well, it's to give people the opportunity to come to the parks.
Okay.
Right. It's also prevent people from living in the parks.
So
things like
could
that.
I stay 10 days here and then go 10 days up at 25 Mile?
You could. You will get to a limit, and that WAC just changed. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to quote it, but there is a limit to how many days you can stay in state parks.
Oh,
for
there
the
is.
year.
So there is
Mhm.
a whack.
Yeah.
Interesting. Didn't know about that. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So people are booking, and I've heard the 9 months complaint. We'll call it that. I think people are, because like to me, I go, I don't know what I'm doing July 4th in
Right.
October. I don't know.
Yeah.
So to me, it would be I would be frustrated.
Yep.
But I think that's maybe the most common complaint I hear from visitors to the park or not this park, but state parks.
Yeah.
Is it's so hard to get a spot sometimes. But what I'm learning is I'm talking to more and more people that work in the parks. You just said Bridgeport's a sleeper. There are other parks, and we're not going to talk about them today, but there are other parks that are available to people. They might not be on the lake here, like Lake Chelan, but that doesn't mean that they're not really an enjoyable place to spend some time.
Right.
Okay. All right. Wow, we have gone way off of our.
That's right.
We've gone way off, and
That's what you're here for. You're here to
Yeah.
anchor us back in.
well, let's talk your entire career. You kind of know this question's coming.
Yep.
But I'm gonna throw you under the bus and broaden it. Your entire career, from being a park aide to today, you got any interesting stories about your experiences at the park? You mentioned something that happened here.
Yeah.
But do you have any, like, at any of the other parks? I mean,
Riverside.
Okay.
We could do a whole podcast on.
so give me an example. Give me an example of something that happened or that you experienced while you were at Riverside.
Well, probably the one that I'm most well known for. There's actually a YouTube. So Happy, where William Farrell, right? The Happy song.
Farrell,
Yeah.
Right.
He came out. What was that?
Thanks for putting that back in my ear.
Yeah,
Thanks.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
a lot.
There's actually a YouTube video of myself and my fellow park rangers at Riverside. The foundation there, our friends group, which we could do a whole thing on friends groups too, because I think they're so important and do such great things. They were looking to try to get some grant money, and Farrell was willing to pay some money to different people who were able to get so many views for their dancing videos on YouTube. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but they basically said, hey, you guys need to go out and with this film crew from the foundation, and you guys are going to go dance to this.
And this
song.
is on YouTube?
It's on YouTube.
Well, it'll be attached to the show now. Thanks for sharing that one.
14,000 acres of happy is what it is.
Oh my gosh.
So,
All right.
Yeah.
So how about here? Or at Alta or Bridgeport or 25 Mile? Anything?
Yeah, it was just a couple years ago. So we do get snow here,
Right.
but we do have a restroom that remains open. The campground remains open,
Right.
And so we have to clear it with snow. And I don't remember. It may have been a January or February. There really wasn't anybody here, but I was out chipping the ice away from the walk
You're
path.
leaf blowing, man. That's what you're doing. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So I'm over here at this bathroom over here, the Little Bear Trail, which is a wonderful trail.
Mhm.
The people who designed it, the rangers who were involved in that, did an amazing job. If you haven't been on it, I recommend it. But I'm over there. The trail goes just to the side of the bathroom there, and I was scraping and I'm crunching this ice and I'm getting it off the sidewalk, and I don't know why, but the hair kind of stood up on my neck.
Uh-huh.
And so I looked up, and there is, and I know because I was close enough, a mountain lion tomcat, probably within 15 feet of me.
That's way too close.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh. So what? Obviously, we know you successfully you removed yourself from the situation.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what happened?
Really, I was like, I'm trapped in a corner because I'm in a partition, right? So I was like, well, I'll just step into this bathroom and wait for it to leave. So I backed into the bathroom, and once I get in there, I realized I can't see out of the bathroom, so I don't ever know where this thing has gone.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, I kind of peek my way out, and I just start kind of peeking around the corners and looking in the trees, and I kept looking and kind of got myself out into the open space so I wasn't trapped, in the corner anymore. And then went back to where I'd seen it just because I'm curious.
Yeah.
Right? Looked at the footprints, and I could see where it went, and followed the footprints up the hill a little ways just because I'm curious.
The story we're telling ourselves is it was just afraid of you as you were of it.
That
Yes,
is
okay.
exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned another story about a boat.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was last year, and I was working night shift. I was on my nighttime rounds, and heard this pop, and it kind of sounded like fireworks.
Right.
I think it was mid-August, but it doesn't mean that people aren't shooting fireworks around. We have the orchards also that shoot off things,
Yep.
occasionally scare birds away. So I didn't pay it. It was a little different, but I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it because it just didn't sound. It wasn't like it was a gunshot or something. So I wasn't overly worried. I was like, if they're fireworks, we're gonna get another one soon. But then all of a sudden I heard this bang, and I was like, that is not a firework. And the radio exploded. I had a parkade down here, and he's like, there's a boat burning in the water. My phone, the concessionaire's calling me. I have campers running over there, waving their arms, and there's this. People are streaming out of their campsites and heading down towards the Deus area, and it was lucky. There was a boat. All 5 occupants were able to get off the boat and uninjured.
Do we know why it blew up? Or
So if you have a boat, you need to make sure that the fuel tank is down underneath, right?
Okay.
So you have blowers that suck the fumes because they're heavy
right.
out of the bottom of the boat. right, so that they don't have so
the boat doesn't blow up.
yeah, so the boat doesn't blow up. And during ignition, either the fans weren't blowing. At that point they're not going to know, or they started it too quick and didn't allow for them to blow a little bit. But they'd been sitting for some time out in the sun.
Okay.
So the gas, was slowly vaporizing into the lower part of the boat, basically, and then was to the ignition, and then it lit the fumes on fire.
All right. I'll let you get off track, right? It's my responsibility. You moved out here because your wife went to school in Cheney.
Yep.
What, besides needing a job, that's the simple answer. I'm not going to let you just say, oh, because I need a job.
Yeah.
But what made you decide to apply to work in the state parks?
Yeah. So I actually had, when I was in Estes Park, I was working for a camp up there, and they had a national park ranger. His name was Barry Sweet. He would come in and give talks to the kids, because the camp would do 5-day backpacks through the national park, and so part of their thing was let's have them make connection with the staff out there.
Okay.
And he just did a wonderful job, and I'd seen him a couple times, and we started talking, and again, I was trying to get on as a director at a park somewhere. That one would have been great, wherever. But things weren't working out, and so I'm putting feelers out. I was like, hey, man, what? This is my background. Would I be able to get into something like that? He's like, probably not in Colorado right away. A lot of people come to Colorado. A lot of people come to Rocky Mountain National Park after having been a ranger for a while. My recommendation is to go somewhere else and do this, blah, blah. So my wife and I are working at the camp, and he comes in again. I said, hey, we're moving to Washington. It was really nice to meet you. Thank you for all that. He's like, hey, my old partner, his name is Jack Hart. He is one of the hiring managers in Washington State Parks. Let me give him your information, and you guys can touch base.
There you go.
So it was kind of one of those like, hey, you're moving out there, we like you, and let me see if I can put you in touch with someone.
The rest is history.
Yeah,
and you've worked your way here.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about your career for just a second, and then So Park Ranger 3. I know there's a Park Ranger 4.
Yeah.
Putting you on the spot. I'm going to let you say you don't want to answer this question.
That's fine.
Do you want to be a Park Ranger 4?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to be. So listen, hiring manager, Washington State Parks. Listen here. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding. What's it take? What's the requirements? Is there an educational requirement to be a Park Ranger 4? What do you have to do? What's the state looking for that next level of ranger? Do you know?
Yeah, sure. Well, as you get higher in it, right, it becomes managerial.
Okay.
Right? It becomes administrative. Not entirely, occasionally your time outside ends up kind of getting cut less. Yeah, dwindling.
Okay. All right.
And so really, looking at what kind of soft skills you have, looking at, do you understand, can you take a team, right? Group of people who a majority of our team is seasonal. We have nine year round in our area. So for all 4 parks, we have 9 individuals who are on year round.
Okay.
So the rest of those are all seasonal.
And let me ask you this: 4 parks during the busy season, because it's all the same busy season. How many people are working in those 4 parks
altogether?
Yeah, altogether.
I think we have 36.
Wow,
36.
So that's a big jump.
Yeah.
Not that you're going to know the answer to this question, but how many of them come back for more than a season?
It varies. Every year it varies.
Right.
But
let me ask you this: from 24 to 25 for this year, how many came back for the 25 season? Approximately.
Yeah. So I think we had 6 who started the year coming back from us. We ended up taking a couple from another area who they wanted to have an experience at a different park area. So that's why they weren't bad there, and they were welcome back, but they were like, I want to see something else.
Right. I was on the west side of the state. I want to come and check out Central Washington.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So if you became a Park Ranger 4, how many do you oversee more parks at that point? I mean, you're overseeing. You're got 4 now. Does a park ranger 4 oversee 4 of you? Let's say. Or,
No. So like my boss and our areas, all areas are set up a little bit differently. The hierarchies can change.
Okay.
That's what the force get an opportunity to do. They can kind of change that a little bit.
Okay.
They can guide that how they want. That's part of that moving that team forward.
Gotcha.
But my boss oversees the same parks.
Okay.
But she additionally has all of our maintenance stuff. So I oversee like daily operations, our seasonal park aides and our rangers.
Okay.
We also have a whole maintenance wing and we have an administrative portion, and she oversees that as well. So she's got budgets, she's got the whole thing in there. Whereas the budgets, it's not that I don't care, because I'm kind of a geek when it comes to those things, but it's not part of my daily thing that I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where's she based out of?
Alta Lake.
Oh, she's out of Alta Lake.
Yeah, that's the headquarters for the Central Lakes area.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very cool. You live here at Lake Chelan.
Yes.
And I'm just pointing randomly. Like I keep, this is not visual, but I'm pointing. You have a family.
Yes.
You have kids.
Yes, I do.
And they live next to this really beautiful park.
Yeah.
Don't tell me they're inside playing video games right now.
Well, they're at school right now.
Okay. But when they come
I'm
home.
hoping they're not. Yeah.
Do they like living here?
Yeah, they'll season with it. When there's 1,000 people here, and we have, in this green grassy space, we'll have 10 to 12 volleyball courts set up that people have brought. There's not a lot of place that they're not like coming out to the play structure where they have 30 other kids playing. So there's a little bit of that. We'll go down and swim occasionally at the beach, but a lot of times during the summer we actually end up going into town or somewhere else to kind of recreate.
Right.
But yeah, the shoulder seasons, the winter, when it's not busy, one of the roadways usually ends up becoming our sled area, and we just like sled down through the day use area. It's a great time.
That's pretty cool. All right. And so they do overall, they kind of appreciate it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. 2020 was great. 127 acres of nothing.
Silence.
Yeah.
So if we put your kids on the spot, where would they want you to be a park ranger at, do you think?
Oh, they like sameness. So they would say here probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. And all their friends are here, so they would probably still end up saying
still
here.
want to stay here?
Yeah, I don't know that they would.
And what about your wife?
Venture out.
Does she like the Central Washington? I mean, to me, what little I've been in Colorado, this seems similar enough to what I've seen in Colorado.
Yeah.
So it's not like you were in Death Valley,
right?
So does she like being here?
Yeah. It's Washington as a whole is a darker state. And she likes sunshine. So if she had, we'd probably be in Arizona or somewhere more south.
Okay.
She likes the warmth and the sunshine.
Okay.
And
Reasonable.
Washington doesn't, even though we're on the east side, the sunny state.
It's a little, let's be honest, it's a little dreary today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to ask you to draw from the 4 parks this question. What do you see visitors consistently forget to bring that they should be bringing? Do people is there a consistent thing like, oh, I forgot my tent? I mean, that would be really bad, but is there in your opinion, are there things that people should bring with them to enhance their stay at one of these parks?
Yeah, because we're in Central Washington, we're in a high fire area, and our fire bans seem to be coming earlier and earlier
and longer.
Yeah. And I think the thing that people miss is the fire pits, and we allow propane through most of those fire bans. If it's extreme, we don't. There's no flames.
Right.
But we allow those propane fire pits.
Okay.
And I think and I don't want to take away from our concessions. Our concessions have an opportunity to do that, but they don't have 134 fire pits that they can offer.
Right.
So yeah, a good investment in a nice
propane
fire pit. And I know marshmallows aren't quite the same over the propane, but there's ways to do it. Take a waffle cone and you shove it with marshmallows and a little bit of chocolate in there, and you wrap it in aluminum foil. And you take your hamburger tongs or your the tong and you just kind of rotate it on actually the and then you pull it out. You actually have a waffle cone with melted marshmallow and chocolate in there. It's a good way to go.
All right, never ever heard of that. All right, you said concessions here.
Yeah.
When do the concessions open? They're not running right now, but so typically when do they open?
So Memorial Day they're supposed to be open from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Yeah.
Okay, and at your concessions here, what do they carry typically?
So this one here will have, sodas. They make okay. They have ice cream. That's actually called paninis in the park is what the concessionaire is calling themselves. And so their pesto is really good if you haven't had it. So if you come get the turkey pesto panini, it's really good. Not that the other ones are bad, but that one is my favorite. And I'm starting to think, sodas. They have some candies, but they also have inflatables. So they do, they have like the inner tube inflatables for the swim beach down here and some things like that. Nothing, I don't think they have anything that's big,
right?
But they'll have some of those smaller ones and a little air compressor out there that you can blow them up with and things like that.
Does 25 Mile have a concession?
They do, yeah.
Okay. What?
He offers quite a bit more.
Oh.
He actually has a liquor license up there, and because it's the last stop before they can get up to the Forest Service docks and up to Stehekin, which is the small town at the end of the lake there.
Right.
We are the last stop. So he actually offers gas. You can buy a loaf of bread. You can buy eggs from him.
Really?
He has some beer that you can buy from him, but sodas, coffees, same other stuff. But we don't have like a swim beach there, so it doesn't do a lot of that, but you can rent paddle boards. But if you're not familiar with this lake, they're completely different like they're the same lake, but they're different lakes.
Right.
You get up for 25 Mile Creek and you can have huge crests. We have a seawall in front of our marina up there because the waves just get ginormous. We just don't see that down here as much.
What about Alta and Bridgeport? Do they have concessions?
Yeah. Alta Lake has a concession. Similar, they have a little walk-in area where you can get ice cream, again, some of those other things right at their swim beach. Firewood at both, actually all of them, they do firewood, ice, those types of stuff. Trying to think if there's something special specific. Oh, he does like little pizzas at his, so you can get a little pizza at that one. Bridgeport is the only one we don't have a concession at. Yeah.
That's Bridgeport's got a great view of the Columbia.
Yes.
It really does have a great view of the Columbia. And now I know Alta Lake's right next to the golf course. Yeah. But if you're a golfer, and I'm not, but Bridgeport's so close to Gamble Sands.
Yes.
Have you seen Gamble Sands?
I have. Yeah.
Are you a golfer?
I am not a golfer, but you got to at least go through it because everyone talks about it.
It's out of this world.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't belong there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that in a good way. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't belong there, like they should take it out. No. It's unearthly looking. It's just
almost like an oasis.
And it's like, I don't camp very much. I don't golf. But if I were, I would combine Bridgeport and Gamble Sands. Yeah. That would be, 15 minutes probably from point A to point B, if you will. Yeah. Okay. I'd like to, how many people, so you get 1,000 people a night here. Annually, what's the approximate visitor count for this park?
Well, so I was trying to find some good numbers on that one, and I'm not sure. So we use a car counter at the entrance, right? Okay. Which is magnetically based. As a car drives by, it says, "Hey, I think there's a car here." Okay. So we have that, but then also in our computer system, if everyone's doing it right, we're going, how many people are in your party? Oh, there's 8. And we put that number in. Right. With some people, it just says like 2. Right.
And there's 12, but.
Right. Which.
Because they think they have to pay more for the camp spot if they say they have 8. Anyway,
yeah. So roughly like here, we're looking at about 300,000 approximately for the.
And do you have the numbers for the other 3?
Yeah. So Alta Lake, we're just shy of 200,000. Bridgeport is 100,000, and then 25 Mile Creek says 85,000. That one's off. I know because our car counter wasn't working up there for some time. It's whatever. So that one's a little lower than normal, but yeah.
Going back to when you were at Riverside, what do you think Riverside would have been?
Oh, millions. Oh, it was
really.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay. And that one's so hard to count. There's so many trailheads. There's so many accesses into that park. There's a roadway that runs through the middle of it, right? Aubrey L. White, and so to get the counts on that one is kind of a nightmare. But it's an urban interface park, So not only do you have those people, but the Centennial Trail runs through town, right, all the way to Idaho, and you have all those people who access the park that way. So yeah, it's very busy.
ADA accessible?
Some, yes. Okay. It's if you're familiar with State Parks is really trying to do some things to make everything we're doing more accessible. Interpretive programs that have both auditory and visual explanations for things. So either way, you can get some information. The way that I'm going to say this may sound bad, but we've individually went out and we've done a bunch of things to the low hanging fruit, right? Because we know we need to make some changes, right? But when you're talking about like full facility stuff, we've made changes inside facilities so that the facilities that are there are available. Right. But some of our facilities, to get to them, are not accessible. But that's not like hey, let's take that out of the park budget and make a new building. We're looking at millions of dollars to just create the new building, let alone anything else that's going there. So, and anybody who comes to state parks over the next few years, I'm sure you will see massive changes in that form and facet. Yeah.
How many boats do you think launch from here?
That is a great, and I didn't, I grabbed the overall numbers, but, gosh, I mean, we'll have a line of boats.
Really?
We have a very small parking lot for them, but it's a large launch in February. If you came up here, Kokanee is huge. The Kokanee are typically on this end of the lake. People are coming from all over Washington to come in. This parking lot, they're parked over the bumper blocks and down, parallel parked all the way down the way and in through the boat. I mean, it's all Kokanee fishermen.
There was a boat, a truck with a trailer today. I thought I saw that.
Yeah, we have 3 of them over there.
Okay, right so now. What are they?
Probably Kokanee fishing. Yes, I mean, mostly. I mean, that's what a lot of people. You can get kings in here. You get Kokanee. Okay. Rainbow. We had a guy a couple weeks ago. He was here for some lake trout. We get bullbit in there, which is kind of a bottom feeder type fish. So there's kind of a conglomerate, but really people come up here for the Kokanee. Is really when you.
And Alta Lake. How big is the lake? Do you know?
I don't know.
Not that big of a lake, really.
It is not that big of a lake.
It's not that big of a lake, really. Okay. So all 4 of these, I just realized all 4 of these have water.
Correct. All of them have technically what we call a lake. The Columbia's Rufus Woods is what they.
Yeah, but I would. Sorry, I just like, oh yeah, they all have water.
Central Lakes area.
Yeah. Come on, don't make fun of the host. Go ahead. Why not? What? I'm gonna give you a magic wand or a magic leaf blower. Okay. Great. And you can do anything you want to this park. Anything. One thing. What would be the one thing you would do? You have no budget constraints. You have to be practical in the sense you're not going to go, I'm going to put up a 700-story building. No, not. But it's got to be like, what would you do? What your vision? What would it be? One thing.
Man, there isn't just one thing.
No, it's got to be.
Yeah, I know.
I got to make it do one thing, man.
If you're gonna pin me down to, can I make it 2 things?
I wouldn't stop you, but I'm gonna. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, 2 things. Well, because the number one thing that I would do right now, if everything was ready and we had the money to do it, the one bathroom we've been trying to replace for a couple of years needs to be replaced. It's just gotta go.
Now, when you say putting you on the spot here, I mean, knock it down, start over, or
that's what's going to have to happen.
Okay, so it's a complete build of a new building.
That's one of the reasons why it's within 200 feet of the water. We've got permitting issues.
Gotcha.
Issues,
all those,
the whole list of stuff.
All right, so we got easy, What else?
So we are an agency that has to make our own money.
Yep.
I say that loosely, but for the most part, we're supposed to be making our own money as a government agency. And the thing that we can always take more, but on the weekends, by 9 o'clock in the morning, we're full and we're literally turning away money because we don't have a place to park people. And I'm not going to ruin things just to bring more people in, if that makes sense.
Right.
And so I would replace a lot of our day use area, put in additional parking, replace our day use bathroom, because yes, if you just create more parking, you have a facility that can't take that as well.
Right.
Then you have sewer backups, and now we're not doing anything good. Additional terraces through here, underneath here, where people can actually come to this lake. The reason there's not a lot of public access on this lake. It's a ginormous lake.
Yes,
It's
it
50
is.
miles long.
Yeah.
There's almost no public access space. There's a little bit in town, but most of it's private.
Yep.
Right. And that's where we're missing. If I could do something to this park, I would do something to allow more people to access it and upgrade the facilities.
But while keeping the experience level high. You're not going to just go, I want to have 2,000 people here just because we can collect money and they won't be happy. But you want to make it.
I don't want to pave paradise to put up a parking lot.
Right. Okay.
But kind of, but not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
You want to, yeah. All right. I'm getting distracted by the deer running through here, which I don't know why I have deer running through my yard at my house. It's not like I'm not used to seeing them. It's more like I'm kind of wondering if that's a mountain lion out of the corner of my eye. It's kind of
yeah. They're my grass mowers for the winter.
Yeah. How many come through here? I mean,
yeah, it varies. In years past, I've seen as many as like 30 that will just kind of wander through and stay down here.
Yeah.
Hunting season comes and people leave, and they're kind of pushed in. You can't hunt in the park, so they kind of just venture down here. We've got this nice green grass for them to eat and fertilize for me.
Okay, I'm going to give you another scenario. You get a week off. Okay. You have to play by my rules, by the way. Okay. You get a week off.
Okay.
You and the family, so it's going to be a family adventure, can go stay at one Washington State Park. And you get to decide. So wife doesn't get it. You're going to decide. You want the kids and the wife to be happy, but you're going to pick it. Which Washington State Park would you go hang out at for a week? Is there one you haven't been to you want to go, or?
So there's some that I haven't been to. I've been to a lot. But if I was going to be someplace for a week, I would probably go to Fort Worden. I say that because there's so many things to do at that park, right? They've got the marine facility down there. They've got the aquarium in there. You got tide pools that you can go and you can explore, but then you can venture into town, and there's a lot to do in town there. They've got the big ball field out there, and then they've also got like tennis courts.
Yeah, no, it's a great.
Yeah, they even do performances in there, and they have a restaurant inside the down in the park there too. So it's if I had to spend a week somewhere,
that would be
and then you've got the sound right there. I mean, just the forts. The kids love playing in the forts. So
all the bunkers that you can. Well, many years ago, I don't know. You can go through them anymore. I don't know that I would fit through them anymore because as a teenager they were cramped for me, but as an adult, the fat man is stuck in the bunker. Can somebody get the Crisco and pull him out, please? It's just bad visions there for me. But beautiful park. And Port Townsend's an amazing little community. Yeah, that's
and you can literally walk to the ferry and you'd be at EB. Right, you can literally be in EB right across the water there. So
and you're not far from Flagler either. If you wanted to take a day trip, you could
Flagler
you could hit that whole Ring of Fire thing if you're kind of a history buff. All right. I asked my guests 3 questions, and this is where we're going to transition to that kind of abruptly. Before.
Yeah.
Best camping spot in this park. Or actually, I'm going to change it up on you.
Okay.
I warned you about this.
Yep.
I was going to.
Yep.
I'm going to give you all 4 parks to pick. You can pick the best camping spot for only one spot out of 4 parks. Now it's going to probably be really hard. And I'd let you cheat.
Yeah. So I would pick. So my number 1 would be probably site 34 at 25 Mile Creek State Park.
Why?
Because it's right on the creek.
Okay.
I would probably choose it towards our closing portion of the like September,
right?
Because the kokanee are running through the creek, so you can jump right out and you can see the reds running up the creek there.
All right. Yeah. So that would be yours.
Yeah, I think if I was going to choose, and 25 Mile Creek, it's on the way to nowhere. The road ends half mile past the park, right? Unless you're going to be 4-wheel driving somewhere, right?
Does that road? Can you go off road up to Stehekin that way at all? No. So it's really okay.
Yeah, you can cross over into the Iniat Valley. We get a lot of people who on motorbikes will do that. Things like that.
All right. So when you're not being a park ranger, and I think I asked you this question to begin with when we first started talking, I love coffee. Now how far are you from town here?
15 minutes.
15 minutes, which seems like 15 minutes too long to drive for coffee when I want coffee. Just kidding.
Except for if you have to drop the kids off at school at 6 o'clock in the morning for practice.
Where's a great place to get coffee in Chelan?
So I'm going to caveat this one. If I'm going to sit down for coffee, I'm going to go to this. It's called the Vogue. It's right on the main strip. It's really just kind of a nice sit down place. They've got some bakery items in there as well.
Okay.
Just gives you a good. Then you can pop out and you have access to all kinds of things as you go through.
And what's the coffee drink of choice for you?
So pretty much at any point will be like a caramel macchiato.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But we're seasonal now, so we go like pumpkin and soon get into the like,
This interview is over, man. You're one of those people. Does your wife drink coffee?
Yes.
What is she? What's her go-to
drink of choice?
Yeah.
Caramel brulee latte.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Kids? You kids?
No, they don't drink coffee.
Be thankful for that.
Yeah.
Okay. How about lunch? You're gonna scoot out of here. I don't know. This may be not realistic for you, but you're gonna get a lunch hour, or lunch break, and I'll even give you all your travels. Okay.
All my travels. Oh.
Okay. I mean, because I'm thinking of Pateros. So the bakery in Pateros is pretty
No,
solid.
That is.
Yeah.
So that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
If I'm on so that was my caveat is if I'm going through or I'm up in Pateros, Sweet River Bakery is where I stop because they've got the bakery and I can get one of those nice cinnamon rolls and a coffee.
Yeah.
They also do a sweet sandwich stuff up there, but that's not. I mean, because we're in this community here,
right.
If I was going to take, Saturday and we're going to do lunch somewhere or whatever, we probably hit Tacos La Roca once a week.
Okay.
Which is, if you're in the Les Schwab parking lot, you go a little bit further and there's the taco truck that's back there. And it's just amazing. It's really, really
So what
good.
are your taco choices?
So their taco salad, which comes in the taco shell, right? My wife and I split one of those. It's really good.
What about the kids?
So like 3 carne asada tacos. Okay. My oldest gets the sopas. Just the beef
so
sopas.
not real adventuresome. They're not.
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, it's but they're good enough that you don't have to be adventuresome on it. Like it's just good food. Yeah.
All right. Before I hit you with the last question, which hopefully you didn't cheat. What didn't we talk about here? Because we could have gone on. This episode can continue going in many, many different directions.
Yeah.
But let's just. You've got to get back to your leaf blowing.
Well, they keep falling.
Yeah, I know.
So
I've been watching that. No, just here. What is there anything that you want to leave the listener with that we may not have talked about?
Gosh, there's. We talked a little bit about numbers briefly.
Yeah. But before you go there, let me jump in.
Yeah.
You said, and this I can't believe I forgot this. This annoys me. This I don't have my glasses on. I mean, okay. So you said, and I'm paraphrasing for you, but Washington State Parks is the goal is it's a self-funding agency.
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly. You shared with me a percentage earlier, which is a pretty substantial self-funding.
Yeah.
I mean, kudos.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the ability to be the State Parks Discover Pass salesman. Why should everybody that's listening, no matter where they're located, even if they're Colorado, they should buy one.
Yeah.
Why should they buy a Washington State Discover Pass?
Well, it did just go up to $45, right? But my wife and I went to dinner the other day at Campbell's here in town, and we paid $45 for lunch.
Yeah.
It was a couple hours, maybe. Right. It was $45.
Right. No shade to Campbell's, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, $45
good food.
$45 is lunch nowadays.
Yeah. A movie. Try to take a family of 4 to a movie.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. For $45.
Yeah.
You're gonna get popcorn or you're gonna get candy. Not happening.
Right.
So really, you have access to 120 state parks, the Fish and Wildlife lands, Department of Natural Resources, for that $45. I wish I could say that I'm a better salesman on that. I literally have people that I see every weekend show up to this park, pay for a day pass for $10, and they show up 4, 5, 6 weekends in a row, and they pay $10, which is fine. They're paying me $60, which is, sure, I'll take that. But that's not what. If you're gonna come back, like, pay $45, I can save you some money, right? I mean, $45 is not that much anymore, right?
I think it's a great value.
Well, and your tax money isn't going to this anymore, right? So if you want control of some of that money, where that money is spent, right?
Mhm.
If we were tax funded,
Mhm.
you don't get a control of that. Someone gets to decide where that goes at that point.
Right.
But with that $45, you are deciding where that $45 goes.
Let me ask you this question. So every state park that I've been to has a ability to sell a Discover Pass, like a kiosk there.
Yep.
Like, so you collect X dollars here, 25 mile collects X dollars there. What happens to the money? And what I mean by that is, does it stay at your park, or does it all get aggregated up together to the department and to be divvied back out?
It gets to the department.
Okay.
And there's
And that's what I thought.
Yeah, there's a good reason. There's parks that don't get as much visitation, but it's still important that we have those
Right.
parks.
Well, like Peshastin Pinnacles, for example.
Yeah.
Although every time I go there's somebody there, but it's not.
It's not overflowing.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
way not overflowing.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of cool.
Yes.
If you're a climber type person.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. So the parks can collect this revenue in, or you can buy a Discover Pass online, or go REI sells them. I mean, you can buy them. They're pretty
multiple
accessible.
outlets. Yeah.
Now, I will say this. I don't know if you're familiar with it. Do you know you can get a state park from the public library?
Yeah. You can rent a state park.
I
pass.
think that's really kind of cool.
Yep.
And I think there's also, correct me if I'm wrong, I may be wrong, but I think you can be a volunteer for a period of time and return.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There's some pieces of that. It's our campground hosts, for instance, who are getting free camping spots.
Right.
And free is they're not paying. However, they do multiple hours for us. They have to put in 28 hours with us. Similarly, so if you are a community member around a park somewhere,
Mhm.
and you want to put in 28 hours of substantial work,
Right.
not just like picking up garbage in the day use area, but that with that being
I
said,
was gonna say
that
leaf-
might be
I was
what
gonna
is
say
needed.
leaf blowing, but
Leaf blowing. That may be what that park needs,
Right.
but the intent is not that you're just walking in, picking up a bag of garbage and going, hey, I got a free Discover Pass. Most of those parks have something. They actually need those volunteers to do something substantial. And if you have a skill set that you can do something, and that could be drilling holes and rebuild picnic tables. But if you put in the 28 hours, you can apply to get that
So
free
there's-
Discover Pass.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is that the parks are very inclusive.
Yeah.
$45 shouldn't stop anybody, in the sense that they could go to their local library. I don't believe every library has them, but my understanding is there's probably a library very close to the state park you want to go to that could help if you're a library, and you can get a library card for free. So okay, all right,
pretty much right.
all right.
And there's other ways to do this as well. Disabled vets. There's a disabled vet pass that works for camping and for your Discover Pass.
Right.
The blue ADA pass that you would have to park at the Walmart ADA parking spots. Same here. Those permanent ones work
Right.
here as for Discover Passes. And then there's also you can get other discounted passes that can potentially get you into there. Yeah.
And it's a whole lot cheaper than the $99 ticket.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to put you on the spot. How
Yeah.
many tickets do you think you write a year?
I'm not sure that everybody wants to. I probably write close to like 200 some tickets a year. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think that's a lot or a little. I can kind
well,
of go either way with that, to be honest with you.
And so I mean, the idea is that state parks wants to educate.
Yeah.
Right. Educate over enforcement. And so we have to gauge that a little bit.
Right.
We don't have a quota. It's not like, hey,
Right.
you've got to write.
No, I didn't.
We don't quota stuff. But when you're looking at 1,000 people, maybe approximately the same amount for the day use area. We have regulations on fire was the big one this year. I wrote a lot of fire tickets. People were barbecuing with barbecue briquettes in August. When we had a fire ban.
And see, that's just safety, man.
Yeah.
That's just not you being punitive. That's
No.
just being safety,
Yeah.
because a mistake, and this could, because it's dry here, and we already had that fire just down the road that was impacting all of us.
Yep.
It seemed like everybody was working there.
Yep.
They don't need to come here.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly right.
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Noise violations. There are other ones. It's midnight, well past our quiet hours, and you've decided to set up your DJ stand.
Right.
And
But they got lights, man.
right.
Is it okay?
And they're like, everybody's loving it. That's a little beyond at that point, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So that's really the goal.
But do you go? Let me ask you, not to put you on the spot, but do you like go like let's say it's me and I'm in that camper down there and it's 10:30 at night and I got my stereo that you installed 20 years ago when you were a kid.
Rolling.
And I'm playing a little. You might like the music I'm playing, but I'm disturbing people. Do you go over with the intent to say, "Hey, man, can you knock it off?" Because it's
always
So, and if I give you static, at that point, now we begin the decision tree of how am I going to handle this?
Yeah, there's a little bit of decision. I try to explain it to them. Hey, man, I get it, and it's well past the quiet hours. Typically my conversation is like, I don't care what you do, but I want to make sure your neighbors don't. You can watch the sunrise for all I care. Yeah. Stay up and watch the sunrise, but I want to make sure your neighbors don't have to stay up and watch the sunrise.
Right. Yeah. No. And then a lot of it is just I'm guessing, in my interpretation of how I think you would act, if that person's decent to you, turns the music down, you probably go, thanks, have a good night, enjoy your stay, and you walk away.
Yeah.
If you're back 20 minutes later, you're probably not quite as happy.
Yeah. I give people the benefit of that doubt, but return contacts for the same thing.
Yeah.
There's far less leeway in that. Yeah.
All right. So, once again,
yep.
What did we skip over that you'd like to bring up?
I'm glad we hit that you brought back the kind of the Discover Pass thing that we were talking about. I think something that and maybe I should wait for the last question, but I think one of the questions that you've asked previously is something you wish campers knew when they arrived.
Yeah.
And I thought about that for a little bit, and sometimes it took a little bit, but I think the biggest thing that people come and ask me about is maybe they didn't see staff, or they didn't know, or they had an issue in the middle of the night. And I don't know that people know that we have emergency contact information on our bulletin boards.
Okay.
And one of the reasons we live in the park is so that we can help make your night a good night.
Right.
You don't have to deal with that DJ stand next door playing it out until 2:00 in the morning, right? That's the reason they give us the discount.
You're actually really good about the. He's over here mixing everybody.
We got. I've seen a few. It's actually a really good story from Riverside that involves a DJ stand and a lot of people. But that's part of why we get that discount. Is to come out and to take care of those issues at the night.
Right.
But a lot of people, they don't want to call 911. It's just they're just making noise. I don't want to call 911. And I'm not saying it is an avenue, and you can always tell 911 that it's not an emergency, but that's not really not the purpose of 911. Right. So most parks, and this one, all of the parks that I supervise, my number's actually on that board. But also the local ranger for each one of those is also on that board. So even if it's Bridgeport and my number is on that board, I know how to call someone who is living at that park that can potentially take care of that problem for you.
Okay. All right. Last question.
Yeah.
Now I've warned you about this, and you promised you'd play along.
Yep.
This is a really hard question. Cake or pie, and why?
So I'm going to choose cheesecake.
Okay.
Because it's like a pie and it's a cake. It's the mix
fair.
of the two.
You cheated. You listened ahead.
but to be honest, also cheesecake is just amazing.
So what type of cheesecake?
So I really like just that standard New York style.
Okay.
Like it would
just
be
the
really,
plain. I don't want to call it boring, but just
plain.
Yeah.
Because you can do so much with it, right?
Solid.
But it's got to have. I don't like the chocolate graham cracker crust. It's got to have the standard
graham cracker.
Yeah,
right. You don't like the okay.
No, don't do stuff with it. Don't do stuff with the crust. But you put little raspberry jam on it, or a drizzle of strawberry whatever, or you can just there's a huge variety of things.
No, cheesecake's amazing. It's a great answer, and I'm surprised more people don't say it. Actually, all right,
because it's the mix of both.
Well, yeah, but it's so funny watching anyway.
Yeah,
people's some people, it's like, you're asking me to pick between my children. Like, I can't decide. And other people are like, it's cake and pie is disgusting and those people are wrong. And it's like, it's just interesting to me. So most people are kind of like you. I like this and I'm okay. I'm not anti anything, but I like cheesecake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Food is I'm a foodie. So
You're a foodie?
Those were probably the hardest questions you asked me is when you said, like,
well, I'm going to put you on the spot. You went to Campbell's here, which is a resort at the south end of the lake.
Yeah.
You talked about the Vogue, which I've been to a few years ago, pre-COVID, I think. Talked about the taco truck.
Yeah.
Where else around here? You're going to take the wife out for a special dinner. You just went to Campbell's, so you can't say Campbell's, but you're going to take the wife out for a special dinner anywhere.
Yeah.
In Central Washington.
Yeah.
Where are you taking her?
Washington. That's
well,
huge.
where are you going to take
her? Well, the Landing is really nice in town too.
Okay.
That's probably one of my. They have a really good. I mean, even just their hamburgers are good.
Okay.
You're like, oh, it's a hamburger. It's a good
hamburgers
hamburger.
can be amazing, man. Come on.
They have a really good fire pasta, which is just really. I mean, you can't get it anywhere else.
Okay.
So, but yeah, between the food and the wine scene here, if I didn't come here to work, it would just be. I mean, that in and of itself is a reason to come out here.
How about the kids? Where do you think the kids would want to go for? If you said, I'll take you out to dinner tonight, anywhere you want to go, where do you think your kids would pick?
They would probably pick Stormy.
Okay.
Stormy Mountain Brewery, because they have this ginormous pretzel with this like cheesy, it's like a cheesy sausage sauce. I don't even know what they call it necessarily, but I think it's what they use maybe on their like poutine. I think is what the chili fries or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, you get this.
They like that. Huh?
Oh yeah.
Okay. There's so many choices. Right? You are just in this little basket of choice.
Yeah.
You're just overflowing with choice.
Yeah. And they say this valley will rival Napa Valley for wine in just a few years. I mean, we're pulling out.
Washington State. Yeah. So I have a friend who's really big into wine, does not live in the state of Washington, goes to Napa regularly. I mean, this person's really, really into wine. And I sent them a T-shirt, which he didn't find funny. And that is, Walla Walla is for wine. Napa is for auto parts.
Yes. Yeah. There you go.
Come on.
Yeah. Washington State as a whole. I mean, you're doing a great thing here. I came from Colorado, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when people say, "Oh, wow, you came from Colorado? Wow, it must be so amazing," I would say that Washington State is 10 to 15 years behind the busyness of Colorado. I've climbed 42 of the 53 14,000 foot peaks in the state of Colorado, and the last few that I went on, I was literally waiting in line to like take the picture at the top because there were so many people there. But you can still find places in Washington that you aren't doing that.
Have you done Rainier?
I've not done Rainier.
You have not done Rainier?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any intention of doing Rainier?
I haven't. So I haven't done Adams, Rainier, or Helen's. And
Helen's is kind of.
Yeah.
Have you done Baker?
I have done Baker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've done a few of them. It just hasn't been. We started having kids when we came out here. Working in the parks.
Right.
I love working in the parks. I'm glad I get to spend 40 hours a week in the parks and outdoors because that's where I really love. Mm-hmm. But I'd say that because of that, I probably have spent less of my recreation time outdoors, and I solo a lot more stuff. I like to get on my mountain bike and go through the Forest Service up here a little ways, or ride to Manson and back. Just a little bit more. Not the 4 o'clock wake up to go. Bag a peak somewhere. Yeah,
fair enough. Well, Brian, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I get to say this a lot. I always learn a lot when I talk to people, and this episode is very informative. And in a lot of ways, I didn't think. Not that I didn't think it was going to be informative. I don't mean like that, but like we talked about things I didn't think about talking about. Sure. So it's like this is really cool for me. So thank you, and I'm sure next time I come out here it'll be leaf blowing. But
it depends. If you're coming in July, we don't have leaves on the ground.
Oh, you'll still be out here doing that.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
All right. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott.
Hope you enjoyed the show. You can reach me on Twitter at ExploreWaState. I'd love to hear your comments. You can also visit our website at explorewashingtonstate.com. If you know anyone who would like the show, it'd be amazing if you'd share the show with them. This is the biggest way that we grow this show. Good old word of mouth. Glad you were here with me today, and I hope to have you listening to the next episode. See you then.